Hello everyone, my name is Lori Rubin. I'm with ViewBug and I'm here with the fabulous Karen Hutton. Hi Karen.
Hi, Lori. How are you?
Just doing great. I'm really excited. I always love hanging out with Karen, whether it's on, webcasts like this or it's in person. She is a total joy. And for those of you who've had the experience of knowing her, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm blushing. I can't take it. Or I'm going to talk like this the whole time now.
No,
Okay.
no.
Thank you. That's really nice to say. I feel the same way about you.
Ah,
So, Missy.
thanks, Karen. So Karen is a speaker. She's a voiceover talent. She's an educator. She was a figure skater, a horse trainer and rider, and she's also a storyteller, as well as being a professional photographer and just an all-around awesome person. So, did I get
I'm
them all?
sold. Where do I sign up?
You're going to sign up on her website that you see right here in front of you, actually. Um, so Karen is our judge at ViewBug for a contest called Meditation Places. And so we're going to take a real exciting tour of some of her own images. She's going to talk about her images and how she creates some of these fantastic, sunsets to water to mountains. So it's going to be an educational and entertaining, because it's always entertaining with Karen. So we're going to have some fun. I want you folks to sit back and relax. But this is where you're going to look for further information, KarenHutton.com. We're on her photography page here. So Karen, why don't we talk a little bit about you, your website, where they can learn more about you, and things like that.
KarenHutton.com is where to find me, and I do photography and speaking and voiceover and writing and writing. Now I don't teach horseback riding anymore, nor do I figure skate anymore. To do those things, when you're younger. So this website sort of brings it all together, because it's the strangest thing, the way they all overlap, whether it's in creating my own content or for others. So it all kind of works out that they're on the same site, and I have a blog where I share my work and my thoughts and talk about things that are kind of cool and relevant. And it's a fun place to be. You can kind of wander around for a while.
Yeah.
If you want to, and see all kinds of different things.
So Karen, one of the things I've noticed about you and your life is that everything that you do weaves together into this photography world that you're all about. You
Yep.
just recently you joined up with Fuji, which is pretty exciting for
Yes.
you. Mm-hmm.
I'm an ex-photographer now. I have my own page on their website. It's very exciting.
That's real exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah, the thing of it is that I grew up, my family photographed everything they ever did. And we have photographs of the Norwegian portion of our family coming over from Norway in the 1800s, I think. Crazy, crazy people. You're looking right now at some textures. We're going to be digging into this more in later this year. The Inspirarium. It's a place to come and get some inspired ideas for post-processing your work with textures and hues and tones and things like that. It's a little different way to approach just textures. So it's a really fun thing that's just starting to be born. But this photography thing for me goes way back. And so darkroom chemicals made me sick early when I went to school to study photography, that those dreams got dashed into the dust because of darkroom chemicals. So I had to go and actually do other things professionally for a long period of time. But because I'm really just a photographer through and through, I photographed everything I ever did and taught everything I ever did. And so there, I think if you're just kind of got photography in your blood, it just is a way of seeing, seeing the world and seeing things in the world. And I think it tends to reflect the kinds of things you think about and feel about in your own life.
Yeah, I think photography is more than just photography itself. It actually is a lifestyle. It changes your whole perspective of the world around you. And you can really see this in these images of yours. They're just fabulous. So, Karen, what I'd like to do here is we're going to jump over to your landscape section
Okay.
of your portfolio, and we're going to take a look at some of your beautiful images. And again, this is for meditation places. So if you can give those folks that are going to be entering your contest an idea of what you're looking for in a winning image, what
Right.
inspired you for some of these particular images, and why these places are so special for you.
Well, let me start at the contest level because we're going to kind of look at a lot of natural landscapey kinds of things in my work just because those are spaces and places that I love. It's not meant to condition what you all, come up with. So, wherever you find your peace, wherever you find your heart and your soul, and you can like feel the heartbeat of the universe almost, is what we're looking for. Lori right now is sort of thumbing through my sunsets portfolio because I love sunsets.
You are what I was just calling you just recently, the queen of sunsets.
There's just something about it. I mean, if you're in a forested area, for instance, where there are birds, you can hear the birds do their last big hurrah of chirping and singing before they get quiet. It's just this transition turnover time that I find so magical. And of course, I love the warm colors. And I don't know. I just, there's a sunset. I've got to go. It's just in me.
It
Always has
is.
been.
Yeah, this is just absolutely beautiful. I think, I'm going to go back to the thumbnails because if you look real quickly, looking at Karen's images of these beautiful sunsets, there's color, there's texture, there's movement. And, she really captures these, a place in her heart. You could tell that she really
Right.
loves the light and she loves these places.
Yeah, the thing about it when you're looking for your own meditation, spaces and places to take photos of, some of the things to keep in mind are, be guided by how it feels to you and choose a focus. Like that like this is very simple. It could be a very single focused one subject, simple. This is, I mean, it's really just clouds, and I put the mountains down below just to give it context. And that it's like my one and only lightning shot I ever got in my life. I was very proud of it. Anyway, so they could be in civilization too. I love the clouds. I love the punctuation of the few things that I put in these images that they make, they give it a context and they give it a structure. If it's too busy, it's not very meditative because it's not relaxing. So you want to be guided by, kind of go into yourself and see what you love and see what feels really good to you and see if you can capture what that is. Like I would stand here in front of any of these images and say, what's the story? What is it about this scene that I look at and I go, ah, oh. And then what can I leave out so that only the part that makes me go, ah, oh, is in there? I mean, Rick Salmon is always saying the most important part of any photograph is what you leave out.
Right, yes.
And you don't need to have, like, I didn't need the whole sky in this. The sunset went on much bigger, but I didn't need the whole sky. I just needed the part that told the story.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So that relates to, it's, meditative spaces are usually simple. They're usually calming. They feel really good. They shift your state. They take you somewhere. They may have a story. Certain meditation disciplines have you take a focus, just one simple focus, and you just gently focus. It could be a mantra, it could be an object. So the photographic approach needs to be very gentle. And even if it's a bold color, which some of mine are, they're simple.
Yeah. Now, Karen, this is one of your favorite places, is around Lake Tahoe and where you live. And so you've spent a lot of time going to these places. What makes you keep coming back?
I'm a mountain girl. I like being up. I like being up where I feel expansive and the mountains feel really big underneath me and I feel really grounded and really connected to myself and the universe and everything that's in me. And Lake Tahoe is this incredible lake that's like 72 miles around at 6,000 feet, I believe. They consider it to be the most among the most pristine, pure waters in the world.
Hmm.
And it just sort of has a magical place. You know, the Native Americans treat it as a spiritual place. And I always feel that sense of awe when I'm there. And I live in the area, so, you know, I go over there anytime I feel like I need that
Hmm.
little spark of awe. And it just changes all the time. Another thing about meditation places is very often there's water, because water in some of the Eastern traditions uh, is the universal consciousness. Water represents universal consciousness, and so very often in meditative places there's water. Sometimes it's moving, sometimes it's just there. Water's reflective, which, you know, meditation is reflective. So people, photographically speaking, tend to respond really well to sunsets and reflective water. There's all kinds of reasons for that, but in a meditation state, water often factors in. I'm not saying you have to have it. I'm just saying that that's one of the things that draws me to Lake Tahoe. It's like both meditative and wild,
Hmm.
untamed and available. It's a you know, it's very welcoming, and then it'll remind you that it is a wild place. I love those dichotomies.
Yes. Yeah, gosh, I just wish I was there right now.
I know.
And that's what I love about your images, Karen. You really draw us in, and you make us feel like we're a part of your experience. And I think a lot of this has to do with your expertise in really dealing with light and color, and just absolutely beautiful.
Well, and again, and I suppose this is a nice place to sort of interject. This is, you know, whether you're talking about a meditative place or whether you're talking about photography, you know, you want to just be in your being with it. And with my photography, I know what I love. I know what colors and textures and layers and views, and I know what speaks to me because I've spent a lifetime looking at that. If you're new to that, then it's a wonderful way to explore it. And if you're not new to it, it's a wonderful way to deepen it. So, like, I'll be sitting in these places and I'll walk up to a scene like this, and like, this was roaring. It was very noisy. It was loud and fast, and there was so much going on. You know, you just stand there for a minute, you take it in, and you go, but what's speaking? If I were to just take one piece of it home so that everybody knew what it was, what this is, what is that one thing? And in a way, meditation's the same way, because you're going in and you're finding that one place in you, and that, you know, higher self, or however you want to
Hmm.
think about it. So to apply that and to bring that into your photographs is a real gift to the people who get to enjoy it. So often, especially nowadays, there's just so much noise. It's a cacophony of blah, you know, even social media, and, you know, everything is just so much. So to be able to find the thread, you know, the thread that just brings a little peace, a little quiet, a little into your day is really important. And, you know, I happen to enjoy doing that in photography. You can do it in many things, but if for the sake of this contest, what I want to feel the emotion. I want to feel the sense. I want to feel you. I want to feel how you feel looking at whatever it is you have photographed. That story, that feeling needs to come through. And that's both the challenge and the gift of this kind of photography.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
is not journalistic.
Right. Yep. Well, let's take a look at now you've been to the desert, and again, this is another kind of meditative type place. So we're going to take a look at some of
Yeah.
these images. Tell us a little bit different, but that feeling between being in Lake Tahoe or the ocean or the desert. Do they bring a different kind of feeling or experience in your
Yeah, and I
photography?
imagine it feels different in different deserts. You know,
Hmm.
the deserts I've been in have mostly been the Southwest, and so, like, this is Monument Valley in Utah, and of course it's ancient.
Hmm.
So the mountains are ancient too. I mean, Lake Tahoe is, I don't know, I got a wild hair one day to look up and see how old Lake Tahoe was, and it sounds like it's about 1 million years old, I think, or 2 million. It was like crazy. So deserts and places like this where people lived so many years ago, thousands of years ago, are just so fascinating, and you can just sort of stop and imagine or feel all that happened here. You get the same thing, I suppose, going to Europe and seeing the castles, but this is even older. And it's just, it's very dry. It's very, again, it's very wild, but it has these thousands of years of carving into the earth and the flow of life. And like Bryce Canyon, the legends, the Native Americans have all these legends about what these hoodoos are all about. And it's just, I don't know, I often feel wisdom, and I want to say desolation, but it isn't like desolation like, ooh, it's desolation like everything's stripped away except the now.
Yeah.
It's that feeling. And then, of course, Zion, which is where this is from, is so majestic, so unapologetic, so ownership, it's like, well, it's not the right word to say it owns itself, because it doesn't, it just is. But in its isness, there's no apologies and feeling bad and feeling like, oh, I don't know, that's very human. So to be in these places where that doesn't exist, and there's just,
Yeah.
you get to take a piece of that home with you.
Absolutely.
So
Beautiful. Okay, so let's take a look from the deserts, and we're going to take a look at waters.
yep, water. Some people love to be by the ocean, by waters, by lakes, by rivers. Ocean people, they just love, and of course there's the salts, and there's the ionization that happens when the water is moving. Same with rivers, although that one was very still. This was in New York, Croton-on-Hudson, with Rick Salmon.
Yep.
And it's a neat feeling when the water is moving. And in Hawaii, here, where it's very kind of wild, it was a stormy day, and everything's moving, and it's just so life. It's just so wild and untamed and miraculous. It can feel really grand. And again, water is that universal consciousness, symbolizes that in many of the Eastern traditions. And of course, it changes colors, depending on what's in the water, what's reflected against the water. Water seems moody. Water seems alive. Living things are in it. It's just kind of a miraculous substance.
Yeah.
It's healing, it's cleansing, it's... I feel better
I
just
know.
talking.
I feel like I've been, I'm meditating now. I feel so much better. Yeah, these are absolutely beautiful.
It'll make you talk like this.
Okay, now let's go ahead and, besides the waters, let's talk a little bit about, we'll look at mountains real quick, but I also want you to tell us about other ways we can find meditative type places. But let's take a look at a few of your mountains, because they're just so gorgeous. I'm just going to click through a few of these.
Yeah, mountains are just, like I say, in all forms, majestic and capturing the last light, and gives you a chance to look out or you look up. El Capitan in Yosemite that doesn't do it justice. I mean, you can't really fully get the gasp worthiness of it other than just seeing it, because it's just so huge and such a statement.
Yeah.
And again, the feeling of vastness of, I like mountains because they feel so vast and strong and big, and all the deep tones in your voice are the mountains. And I personally, really just love them, being up on them, looking up at them, just being around them. I love what grows up there. Yeah. And the water that flows from there.
I think all these really have something in common, and that's, once you're out in nature, it kind of grounds you and makes you, I don't know, you come away feeling so much more refreshed in a part of the universe, whatever you want to call it. But this is one of the things I love about photography. It gets us out of our element. It gets us outside. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to talk about something else that's a little bit different. We talked about, these wonderful places that most people can relate to as being a meditative type place. But let's talk about some of your more creative art. And we're going to look at this one here. Karen, can you tell us a little bit about this kind of new direction that you started taking with your
Yeah,
textures?
I kind of go back and forth, and I call it
Yeah,
abstractium because I like names that sound like they're places.
it does.
And this is the abstractium. So I love abstracts, but sometimes abstracts feel really like I feel like the RCA dog. I turn my head, this way and that way and can't figure it out. These are all we're all in natural places. Now I don't know. These could be these could work in the contest if what I tried to do, for instance, with these was make them abstract and smooth and meditative and include the colors like the calming blue and the greens and then the warm tones at the bottom and the top and the flow, like breathing, so on and so forth. And it's still identifiably a place.
Right.
So a photo like this could work in the contest. Probably an abstract where we don't even know what it is wouldn't work as well because that's fun and it's cool abstract if you like kind of modern, interesting lines and you don't quite know what it is and you get to kind of study it.
Hmm.
But that's not necessarily a place. That's a kind of a thing. It's same with that. I
Right.
probably wouldn't put that in a contest nor that. But some of the some of the more obviously naturally based people love flowers and the colors. Pink is warm and it's enlivening, and the green is sort of healing, um, and those have movement. And you have to use your judgment. Is it a place or is it a thing? So I love these because they're abstracts like this to me are sort of soothing and feel good. They just feel good to look at and be around. I really like them.
Hmm.
They could potentially work in this contest if you can justify them as a place
Right.
and not a thing.
Okay. Very good.
That's the trick.
Very good. Okay. Well, this is fantastic. I'm just, I always love looking at your work. And everyone, if you want to see more of these, go to KarenHuttonPhotography.com and look at her portfolio. She's got tons of beautiful images, even black and white and, flora, fauna.
Yeah, we've been looking, that reminds me, we've been
Hmm.
looking mostly at color, but if you have sometimes black and white just takes away all the distractions of color and just makes it like just the subject.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to think if some of these are places, some of
Hmm.
them are not. Like even the boat, even the kayaker down there, very
Nice.
simple. And this,
Hmm.
it's reflective, it's meditative.
Yep, this one as well.
I've seen people take photos of their meditation space, just a piece of a fountain or you know, a
Hmm.
place that they feel is sacred that isn't necessarily out in nature. It could be somewhere, but it has to elicit that feeling of like I'm anticipating that when I judge this contest, by the time I'm done looking at the final group that I look at, I'm going to just be in the zone. I just want to be in the zone.
There you go. I can't wait to see them too. This
I
is
know.
great.
I think this is
Okay.
going to be one of the more healing contests we've ever done.
Exactly. Well, Karen, this has been a real fun journey. I feel like the world is a better place now that I've visited your beautiful world of images. So thank you. I appreciate that.
That's always, it's funny because when I take photos, when I decide which ones to put up there, it's always I want to give people a full body jolt of inspiration, whether that's meditative or whatever, that they feel something from my images that enhances them. And so the people who buy my prints and collect my prints, they always do it because they feel something and they just want it around them. And I always think that's something to strive for, to something to actually want to include in your photographs.
Yeah. Well, thanks for making our world more beautiful.
Yeah,
Love it.
you're welcome.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have fun with the contest, and we look forward to seeing your images. Thanks, Karen.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.